Hey, this is Will Power, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Hey guys, this is Pato Award, and you're listening to Indie Sports Podcast. And or what is that? Is that what it's called?
That's perfect.
Or did I say something wrong?
No, trust me, man. I mean, I can edit all this. It's no problem.
What is it again? Indie Sports Podcast or what?
The Indie Sports Car Podcast.
Indie Sports Cars Podcast.
Nice. Yeah, if you want to try it again, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Pato Award, and you're listening to the Indie Sports Car Podcast.
Hello, ISCP fans. Welcome to another live episode of the Indie Sports Car Podcast. I am Jared. I'm working a little solo here. Frank is unfortunately called away to work, and Missy is dealing with little Jackson, who will hopefully be able to come home soon from the hospital. I was told probably early next week, so it's awesome news. We're really pulling for him, but we are fortunate to be joined today by the very young up-and-coming name in the sprint car universe, who's making his transition over to Formula Cars to join a USF 2000 this season. Mr. Trey Burke, welcome, Trey.
Thank you for having me. Excited to get this year going.
Oh, absolutely. Aren't we all? I think just about everybody's getting a little stir crazy. I don't know where you're from. I'm from up here in Michigan, and it's a little cold. The snow has finally started to show up and rear its ugly head, which means now I'm desperate to get out of here and go down to Florida, which makes me sad that they postponed the St. Petersburg race from March into late April, because that's just I had to rebook some travel to make it work, but I'll still be there. Now this just means that you're going to make your debut at Barber Motorsports Park as opposed to St. Pete. So I don't know if that's a track you've ever had any sort of experience with. Do you do any iRacing at all? Any sort of sim racing and stuff to try to?
I got iRacing in this room right here behind me, and I spend quite a few hours a day on it. I'll pretty much do whatever. I will try to do the next track. So in this case, Barber, St. Petersburg isn't on it, but I will try other tracks that are like it. So like Belle Isle, tracks like that to kind of get me in the right mindset.
Yeah, Sebring's another good one. That's actually where the Indy cars do their technical street course testing. They use the smaller layout of Sebring to simulate, which is pretty pretty accurate if you've ever been to Sebring.
Yes, very rough. And I use that track too. It's to the point. I've had iRacing a few years, so collectively I've gotten more and more tracks, and if I kind of see a race that's going on, I'll just join it. You know, I know all experience is going to help me at some point, so anything I can get, I get.
It's got to be quite interesting when iRacing added the dirt into it to be able to go from someone that you had been doing there with the sprint cars and stuff to be able to go, if you want to practice on asphalt, you can do that. If you want to practice dirt, you can do that. And like you said, it does help train you for other, especially the dirt. If you can learn to control a car on dirt, you can control it on just about anything. And I think that's why you see a lot of success coming from sprint cars and other forms of short oval dirt racing, where if you can learn those skills, it really translates up the ladder, they say.
It does. I know that it helps a lot with the car control. I feel already I know that there's a big horsepower difference from the sprint car to the formula cars, and the torque. You know, you get on the throttle and you're going. In a sprint car, where these you kind of got to go through the gears, and it's just instant. I'm always comfortable in the cars, and I know I can do what I want, and it'll work.
So I'm curious, at what age did you find that you were interested in racing and start doing this?
I'd always been interested. I've watched my dad race midgets on dirt, a little bit of sprint car. But I started when I was 9. They got me a little go-kart junior sprint, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to be able to find what you really love at a young age and be able to succeed and work your way up. So what made you decide to make a switch from sprint cars and ovals to primarily road courses and formula cars?
Well, the change happened January of this past year. If you would ask me in December, I would have said, yeah, we're going to run dirt. We're going to go for sprint car championships. But I remember we were at the banquet for the 305s. I just gotten the rookie of the year, and we were looking, and dirt just has no money. If you win something, you're not making any profit. You know, you can make a living from it, but it's not enough to where if you want to get out of it, you can get out of it and be fine. And of course, I love AJ Foyt. I'm from the Houston area as well, and I've seen what he, has done. I've read his book, and I think that was also a big step in, hey, let's try this. I know that our main sponsor, Joe Dueling, has a lot of connections, one of which is ex-IndyCar crew chief Jeff Sinden. Okay. And they our first test was at Laguna Seca with the Lucas Oil, the school. And Jeff was like, yeah, I'll help you out. And we did the series, and here we are.
Well, it's awesome. A lot of it is who you know. And I mean, you got to have the talent. Clearly, you got to have the talent. But it helps knowing people, or if you just got a ton of money.
Yes. I know that money helps, but in a sport like this, I think I'd rather have more connections than money, just because, one person saying, hey, check this guy out can go all the way to the top. And then here you are, yeah, you're in USF or whatever you want to do, but you got all these big name people looking at you. And I think if you can put forward the results, it really means a lot.
Well, and one of the, probably the best thing, you were talking about how you go in the dirt world and lower levels, that you can't really, there's no real guarantee that you could ever move up. There's nothing really in it. Whereas in the Road to Indy, it's the only racing series in the world that has a guaranteed scholarship and advancement. You win, you're moving up. And you've seen it time and time again with guys like Oliver Askew, Rinus VeeKay, current champions, Stingray Robb, Christian Rasmussen. These guys prove that when you win, you can move up. There's a way to help, to fund, to move up, and eventually find that ultimate goal, being able to race in the Indy 500 and IndyCar, and being able to say, hey, alongside Scott Dixon, Will Power, like the biggest names in the world racing, to be able to say, hey, all I got to do is win, and I have this path that's guaranteed to get me there. And you can't really say that anywhere else.
No, you can't. That's another thing with dirt. There's no promise. The only thing you got is if you can get sponsorship money, or just whatever, you can get for yourself. If you want to go from, a 305 sprint car to a 360, there is no championship you can win for that. You have to somehow come up with the money for not only the engine, but, that's also different tires. That's different, just the whole car has got to be changed a little bit. And then as the series go on, you're also traveling more. So it's also travel money, it's for sure reassuring and good to know that, hey, I can get results. And if I do good, it will give some money that we can use to move up.
No, absolutely. And it's definitely, it sounds like the team coming in doesn't have a whole lot of experience with the formula cars, I'm assuming. So it's going to be a big learning process for everybody, for you, for the mechanics, the engineers, everybody. Fortunately, you are coming to one of the best paddocks out there, and I can guarantee you will find just about whatever support you need. I mean, nobody's going to give you any inside secrets and stuff, but everybody out there is some of the friendliest you'll ever meet. And they're like, if you have questions, and for the most part, they'll answer them. They're very helpful, very welcoming people. And we love having new talent coming in, new teams, and just new people to meet and get to talk to, like you.
Yes, sir. And with the team, we are new to the Formula Car Series. We have a great crew for dirt. Todd Shores, Jeff Sinden again, my dad, granddad, and Scott Fair. But I think that yes, we have the dirt experience, and I think based on the testing we've done, it does translate, and it does mean a lot that we have what we got in helping us move over. Because yes, there's a big difference, but on the mechanical side, we have more experience than I think we even thought we had.
They are. People don't really realize it, but I mean, it is an open wheel car, so the aerodynamics are similar. You don't have to worry. You actually have to worry about air coming over the wheels and managing that. But that's something you're used to. Your wings, you working on downforce levels. So like those kind of basic applications will translate over. It's just figuring out, okay, well, I had this spring rate on this car. Well, if I want to recreate that similar kind of thing, it's going to be a different amount. So that's really where the learning curve is compared to the actual base concept of it. So you guys do have a decent head start on someone who would be brand new to all of it, but it's still going to be a fun learning experience. For sure. At least you don't have to start at St. Pete, where it is one of the most unforgiving tracks you will ever drive at, except for maybe Belle Isle. As far as you make one mistake into that concrete wall, and it's a lot of damage to those cars compared to somewhere on a regular road course where you can go through the gravel or the grass into the tires. It's tough out there. So Barber's a great place to be able to start, have some knowledge and experience with iRacing. If anything else, not only do you have the actual USF car in iRacing that they added recently, but with the track there, it'll help you learn the lines. And then once you get in there, you'll be like 2 laps and you're like, all right, it's just like it was before. So it's awesome to be able to have that kind of tool like iRacing that just 5, 6, 7 years ago wasn't nearly the product it is today. And just especially with are you going to be competing in the Road to Indy iRacing series that will be starting?
Yes, sir. We just got registered 2 or 3 days ago. We finished everything we got. I've been on all the tracks I can do. I've dropped a couple bucks getting everything already laid out, and we're working on it right now.
Well, that's awesome. Well, because I'm an iRacing member too. I'm not on as much, but when they do the iRacing things, I try to get in there and at least be in the sim with all you guys to kind of watch over. And I mean, the great Rob Howden does the commentary. Him and his little group of his crew there do an amazing job commentating on the races. And I just kind of like to sit back. Frank and I will like sit back and just, if he can get in there, we'll just sit back and chat and watch it. Pick a driver like we're good friends with Robert McGinnis and Indy Lights and Renus VK and Stingray. A lot of these drivers that we've had on over the years gotten to know. So it's cool to be able to say, hey, I know this guy, and just kind of watch you around, see what you're seeing, just kind of and every driver has a different style. So to get to see what your style is, whether you're someone like who's pretty aggressive or you're laid back, it's always fun to see because the sim brings out your true side. Everybody's a little more timid when you actually get on the track because it's a real car that has real dollars if you wreck it. Whereas in the sim, you just, as we've seen last year and the IndyCar stuff that they did, that some guys just will throw their hair back and be a little more risky. So it really does show what they would really be. What they could really be. So it's fun to see. We're definitely looking forward. They did postpone the start of it to February 3rd. So about 2 weeks from today, I believe, it will start. So we'll try not to do our podcast on that day in time so that we can, or maybe that's what we will do. We will do our live podcast and simulcast the race. So it's very well possible. Just trying to think of anything else. So you said your father used to race midgets and stuff.
Yes, sir. I'm fourth generation. So it
Fourth
started with my
generation.
great-grandfather, and he would build the old Indy Roadsters, and he raced midgets. But that was back when there wasn't much rules and regulations, so you
Yeah.
had to build it.
For
And
safety.
Mhm. And then my granddad would race champ cars, Silver Crown, sprint cars, dirt, midget, asphalt, anything he could get his hands on. And same with my dad, and here I am.
So did the NASCAR route ever, was that ever anything that like you were on the path, considering the path, or was it always kind of your family was we like the open wheels, we like to feel the wind in our hair and around whatever track it may be?
NASCAR is definitely an option. At this point, I'll drive whatever. But if I had to choose, I think I'm definitely staying with the open wheel. I mean, there's some things, like in NASCAR, if you're leading on the last lap, the odds that you're getting, wrecked are huge. Where in IndyCar, you're not going to do that because, that's just not how it works. It's open wheel. And I think it's just the style of racing. It's just something you can't find anywhere else.
Oh, absolutely. And it's among the most diverse series you'll see, not just in terms of the talent, but the tracks. Because, I mean, NASCAR, yeah, they added some new road courses and stuff, but it's still 90%, just about 90% ovals. Whereas IndyCar, they try to split it up about 50-50. It's gotten a little skewed towards road courses lately, but at least there are still opportunities all up and down the ladder. You'll be able to race at Lucas Oil Raceway, which is one of my favorite week races to go to. You can see what people who've never raced on an oval, how they handle it, or the people who have raced on an oval before handle it. So that's always a fun weekend. And sadly, they don't have the Freedom 100 anymore this year, but that's was always a good one to watch too, to see just, because those Indy Lights cars will still do 200 miles an hour around Indy, and it's like, that's faster than a Cup car.
Yeah.
Just about. And it's crazy to see the diversity of talent and just all over, just anything, short ovals, long ovals, road courses, street courses. It's, you name it, we got one car for it. And that's what's cool, especially when you move up. If you were to ever move up to Indy Pro 2000, it's the same base chassis. All you just change the wings and the engine, maybe some some extra suspension stuff, but it's essentially the same car. It's one of the cheapest, and like you said, if you want to go from a 305 to a 360, it's a lot more than just strapping in a new engine and new wings. Whereas with Indy Pro 2000 and USF, it's a lot easier transition, and that's why you see a lot of teams that are like, well, we start here at USF 2000 with a couple of cars, and then we'll get a third car, and then just move them up and down, and it's very nice to see.
Mm-hmm. It is. And another thing is, between the 305s and the 360s, there's all these different series which each have their own rules, so it's not just a simple, you're changing it, because now you got to go look up the rules and you got to, change the car to that. Some things are weight, and if you're like me, skinny, that's a big thing. You don't think about it, but then if you're having to add 60, 70 pounds of just lead underneath the car, it's for sure, it gets hectic, especially if something gets brought up at the track, like, hey, you got to change this, and then you're kind of thrashing, trying to get it fixed.
Oh yeah, we hear it all the time from Graham Rahal. He loves to talk about how being tall is a disadvantage, and it's true. Yep. I'll give him. I'm not going to say he's lying, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think being tall is as big of a deal. It is for sure. But I know that in the Indy cars, you can always move the pedals and the seats. Being tall is a big, in the sprint car, that can be an issue because the pedals are actually like, if you're sitting in a chair, the pedals are right there. You don't extend your feet out. So maybe in a sprint car, but for sure in an Indy car, being skinny is a little bit worse than maybe being tall, but if you can get the perfect balance, you'll probably be all right.
Yeah, and a lot of it is trial and error. You go out there, see what you got, and go from there. If you don't get a whole lot of time to do the trial and error. But fortunately, were you guys able to participate in the testing over the last few days or last week or so?
No, we were doing some testing down. So we're just south of Houston. We've got a track MSR in Angleton. That's where D-Force is actually based out of. And so we were able to test over there with them a little bit. We are planning on getting some more tests we'll be at Homestead and Sebring. So we'll do that. We'll get there. And another thing, is if the seat pouring, that's a big deal. I've never had to do that, and I love it. It's a whole new comfortability thing, and just, I don't even know if that's a word. That's just, it's way better than the sprint car could ever be.
Yeah, it's something that is very underrated that drivers don't talk about enough. How it's form fitted for you. It's perfect. It's designed for you to be in there comfortably, and it's actually a safety thing, because if that seat is formed to you, you're going to move around less in a crash when you're strapped in there, and it actually is to protect you. And it's awesome. So it's a double positive. It feels great for you to sit in there. You're perfectly the way you want it, and it's safer. So it's a win-win. And it's one of the things that sets IndyCar and the Road to Indy apart is no stone goes unturned when it comes to safety and stuff for the drivers. The IndyCar is having drink bottles in the car for them to drink during the race, all the safety innovations. The cars are being retrofitted with a halo this year after the incident with Braden Eves last year. Very unfortunate, but everything's a learning experience. Mm-hmm. So it'll be good to get the season going here in just a few months and knock the rust off with the iRacing series get everybody warmed up, and then get everything going in Barber Motorsports Park middle of April.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready. I know that I've been waiting for this for months. Just the little things, like getting to, see the car, and, we got it wrapped, and just, it's all building up. And I think just the more we test and the more, we still got our things to work out. And I think once we get them going, we'll have a good year.
Well, tell us a little bit about your sponsor. You said it was a Joe something tooling?
Dueling. Yes. Okay, so Joe has been in racing his whole life. His dad was a car owner in dirt cars, and there's been countless people that have driven for him. And a few years ago, Joe decided to sponsor me, and he's been with us ever since. And without him, I don't think I'd be here at all. He's the reason that I'm here, and I'm the most grateful for everything he's done, because he also brought on board Jeff Sinden. So if Joe wasn't here, we wouldn't have Jeff, and Jeff brought Scott. And so all these people are just coming on, and the leading factor was Joe. He's just, because he's been in it, he's always had the connections. And I think that goes back to having the connections is huge, because, you meet someone and you might not know when you'll need them, but it's always good to have their phone number or something just in case something ever happens.
Well, it's always it's always good to have a sponsor, but it's one thing to have a sponsor who cares as much about racing and is passionate about racing as your sponsor is, Joe Dueling. So I don't believe I had heard his name before you guys were announced, but it sounds like in the sprint car and in that kind of world, he's been a pretty big name for a very long time. And it's awesome to see someone as passionate to be able to say, well, let's dip our toe into something we've never done before. Well, we were comfortable over here. We've been doing sprint car midgets for all these years, and it's been great, but we want to try something different, and that's what's awesome to see someone that loves racing is so much to say, yeah, let's do it. Let's just kick out, write a check here. We'll see what young Trey's got and see what he can do this year. I do actually see a question coming here, and you don't have to answer it. Not many people do, but one of our best fans was curious what the cost is for a full season.
Ooh, okay. I don't know full numbers, but I do know that it varies heavily from team to team. I won't name names, but some teams do want. They'll take a little bit more money, but they'll also want maybe more experienced drivers. If you've ran a USF season, then they might take you obviously over somebody that hasn't, that's new. If you're doing it, like how we are, fresh, I couldn't give you a number because we already had the trailer that you need. That's just what we had our sprint car stuff. A lot of the little things that add up, we already have been, collecting without even knowing it. But if I had to give a number, $250,000 to probably 400, depending on the team, 300.
That's actually, I've heard of a few numbers over the years, and that's right about in line. It does vary from team to team. Some teams have higher budgets. They have more staff, more expensive staff, other more overhead things that drive up costs. Others are more like, this is what our actual cost is. They're not trying to make money. They just bare bones cost you. But it is. There's a lot that goes into owning a race car and a race team. It's not as you buy the car, you get the people, you got tools, you got spare parts, you got transportation. There's just so many things that go into it that most people that have never been to a track or traveled around, like, you wouldn't think that you would need it. But something like a golf cart or a moped, or just because some of these tracks you're going to go to, like Barber, Road America. Road America is like 640 acres. The first year I went there, my dad and I went and we walked it the first year, and it was fine for me. I was young, I was skinny, I'm athletic. It wasn't a problem for me. My dad, the next year is like, oh, you're gonna get a golf cart, right? And I looked at the cost and I'm like, you sure? But it's one of those places where, especially if you're on a schedule, if you got to get from point A to point B and you only got so much time, you need a moped, golf, or some sort of transportation. And you wouldn't think of that if you've only ever been to like a small track where like you can walk across super fast. But you get a lot of these road courses, they're big, spread out. You run into fans all the time. They want to stop you and talk to you. You run into the occasional media who actually recognizes you. If you're not wearing your fire suit, they're like, oh, you can't hide from me. But yeah, it's a different world. There's a lot that goes into it, but it sounds like you guys got a pretty good grasp on it already.
We do. We're working on it, little things. We had a little four-wheeler for the dirt track. That's easy. That's no big deal to get around. But I know me and a few friends went to the St. Petersburg this past year, and it was, for me, I wasn't out of breath or anything, but it kind of opened my eyes, like, wow.
I was.
It was hot. It got really hot.
I know. Going from the parking ramp, like they have all the media parking, like one of the parking ramps, you're way up, you got to go down, and then it was a long walk just to get to the gate and get in, and then to walk. It was hot too.
I think that's what Jeff Sinden. I think he's working on the golf carts, kind of getting everything ready, because he knows he was with Ed Carpenter for all those years, so he knows what it takes, and so does Scott. They both work together up there in Indy. And so they are huge. Again, I'm thankful for them because their knowledge is just everything.
Well, yeah, and Ed Carpenter isn't one of those guys that just has basically rubby dubs working for him. Ed Carpenter knows what it takes to get some good people around him. So It'll be great to be able to meet Jeff and all the guys this spring. I don't want to keep you any longer than we need to. We actually got some my buddy Legit IndyCar News guy is going to come in and cover some stories, but we definitely want to thank you for coming on the show. We're very much looking forward to your debut this spring in Barber, and before that in a couple weeks in the Road to Indy iRacing series. So once again, thanks Trey for coming on, and we'll be sure to have you on some point during the season to see how things are going.
Yep. Thank you, Jared. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thanks to your dad for being able to coordinate this.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, it's just me. So if you give me 1 second, let me go see if I can find my buddy. Oh, hi there. Uh-oh. Some guy moved. Please hold. No. Where's the other one? That is much better. Hi there. It's me, Legit IndyCar News guy. Got a little bit of news going on, so let me get the right thing. All disorganized here today. Yes, the first spot a bit of news here on the docket is a brand new IndyCar team. An awesome team, that is. Move that over. Oh, dear. Wrong one. There it is. Awesome. Brand new team. Paretta Autosport will be joining us for the Indy 500. Brand new woman-owned team, founded by the amazing Beth Paretta, long-time great name in the racing world. And the even better news, returning fan favorite driver Simona Di Silvestro will be joining the series. Will be rejoining for the Indy 500. She hasn't been seen in a number of years. I'll tell you what, this guy is swooning. But it is a great news. These guys are partnering with Roger Penske, part of the IndyCar's initiative to increase diversity, building on the name from Force Indy, who we had the great Rod Reed on the show a few weeks ago, talking about his new team, which will be, I believe they were testing out some new drivers at trying to figure out who they're going to have this year. Should have pulled up that news. And then some more news here. Oh, somebody is no longer... Yes, Marco Andretti is no longer a full-time IndyCar driver. He, too, is only going to be in the Indy 500. Might even go do some sports cars in INSA. So, yeah, that'll be fun to see what Marco Andretti can do with just the Indy 500 and some sports cars. I mean, he's got some decent skills in the rain, but yeah, that's about it. And I believe that's it for the news. Oh, first, let me search here for you, Greg. I'm gonna take this off here, and then it's gonna maybe screw up my face. Let me try this here, see what I can find about. I know there was something about the halo from. Sorry about that. I'm very disorganized today. I know I read something in the news about... Okay, here we go. I believe this is it. that's not it. Yeah, it was kind of old. Or maybe, I know. Yeah, I haven't gotten the update. I'm not quite sure who's producing it. I believe Tatis themselves, the manufacturers of the USF 2000 and Indy Pro cars themselves, I believe they are the ones adding the halo onto the existing car. But yes, it's been both a slow news week and a busy news week. I just ripped right through those stories way too fast. Franco said he was supposed to be joining me, but he is running a little late. Let's see. I know it's. Where's the search? Ah, yes. There we are. Maybe it was only an Indy Pro where it was being retrofitted. This episode went way downhill once Trey left. Yeah, I know I saw something that was announced where they were putting a halo on the USF and Indy Pro car. They're working on it. I mean, after what happened to Braden Eves, you have to do something. I mean, they're doing it in Indy Lights. Or maybe it was just Indy Lights that was getting it. Somebody was getting it. It's probably just Indy Lights. I'm going to feel sheepish. Oh, well, we'll do this. Maybe it was in this one. Bobo. Carlin. I think it was this one. Versus Chaz. Okay, yep. Titanium Halo for Indy Lights. There it is. Dallara designed and installed Titanium Halo, and Indy Lights is where it was. So that makes sense. Oh, hey, what do we got here? Oh, dear. What up, piece of garbage?
Piece of garbage.
Dude. 4.5 hours to drill one hole through a wall this thick.
Well, at least it's done in your home.
I'm not done. I had to leave.
Oh, you got to go back.
Just so I could be late and, make an appearance. So how was it?
Oh, it was awesome. It was really smart kid. It was interesting because I asked him like if he was ever on the path to NASCAR, and he said it was a possibility, but he had always wanted to run open wheel. He's a 4th generation racer.
So he was pressured in the stock car?
Well, his great grandfather used to build Indy Roadsters in the 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. And then his grandfather and his dad raced midgets and sprint cars, and his grandfather also worked on some Indy stuff, and just open wheel. It's just open wheel. It's not an oval thing, it's an open wheel thing in his family, which is why they're stepping out of the sprint car and midget world and stepping into the formula world.
Oh, so he did a lot of dirt and asphalt.
Yeah, he said he's
8th miles.
Yeah, the small ovals and stuff. He said his dad bought
like tracks like Lanier and stuff like that.
Yeah, he said at 9 he got a little a quarter midget, a little kid sprint car, and then just kept going up from there. And they ended up their team had a kind of an awakening in that the dirt world and that sprint world, there's nowhere to go. You can just tread water there, and just if you're happy just treading water there, you can do that. But there's no
career
easy way to move around and move up, which is what attracted them to the Road to Indy, because that's their thing. That's what makes the Road to Indy so great. This is the byproduct of Dan Anderson and Michelle and everyone there at the Road to Indy, and their years of planning and strategy is paying off. It's bringing in new teams and new talent.
Who would you say is the most instrumental person that turned Road to Indy into
what it is today?
Yeah, the most sought after.
Absolutely.
Well, sure, but I mean the most. Okay, let me rephrase this. The most visual person that the casual fan would. The casual fan might know who Dan Anderson is, or might see Anderson on the side.
It would be Rob Howden, the face and the voice of the Road to Indy.
Yeah, I was directing you towards.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's where you're going. As soon as you said that people don't recognize, I'm like, yeah, well, then you're trying to bring up Rob Howden.
Of course.
Which does remind me of 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, the Road to Indy iRacing thing starts back up, and we should do a live podcast during their race. I can get iRacing on my laptop, and we can kind of stream and do our own commentary. But then again, we'd be competing against Rob Howden.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
I would rather funnel traffic towards him.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't ever want to compete against Rob because he doesn't deserve competition in this,
Right.
I mean, I know it's a niche. Well, I mean, it used to be very, very niche, but it's getting more relevant as the days go by, which is awesome. But that being said, the more. No, do not order ink. I hate my printer. Yeah, $100 worth of ink showed up to my door yesterday.
Magically, that you didn't even order?
Nope. No, I never ordered it. My printer did.
Fancy.
$200 worth of ink.
Return it.
I did. There's the mystery of that company that took $200 of my account.
So that's where that $200 went.
I was like, why did that check bounce? Oh, my printer.
My printer made my check.
Thanks, Canon.
Literally printing your money away.
Yeah. I feel like Link in Adventures of Zelda. Instead of Ganon, it's Canon. Okay, that was deep and bad. Oh. Yeah.
Wow, that's vulgar.
You hit the wrong button.
Piece of garbage.
Yes, you are. So, how are you, Jared? How is everybody out there? Hi, guys. Sorry I'm late. I'm a piece of garbage. Because I swear, dude, no matter what I do, I will be late for everything. Whenever I'm supposed to die, I will be late for that. And, instead of saying I'm going to be late for my own funeral, that's how I say it. It sucked either way. Car crash.
Oh, you need that one? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I should record myself going because I finally set the drum set up finally and got it tuned up. It only took 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a lighter.
Well, then I guess we can go back over the news stories now that I have somebody to talk about the news with.
Sure.
So, well, let's see here. I mean, the first...
And I feel so bad because I walked into the house. Sorry. I walked into the house, and there's a lady here with Missy, and she's probably very important. She's a nurse, I think, because Jackson's coming home.
Yeah, inspecting the house and stuff.
Maybe. And, me running in the house saying hi and then flying down the stairs was extremely ignorant of me. But,
she can make up for it by telling her that we have a new Indy 500 team that was just announced yesterday.
Well, this is Penske. Let's not get crazy.
Well, yeah, it's a subsidiary of Penske, basically.
She's worked for Penske since she worked for where her and Penske come in is apparently she worked for Penske through her Dodge partnership in NASCAR.
Yeah,
I think, and that's where she comes in with the Penske. Yeah, there it is, right there. But yeah, it is. By all accounts, her name will be on the car. The branding will be her name. It won't have Penske anywhere.
But did you see who's driving the car?
Oh, the Swiss Miss.
Oh, my heart is melting.
I hope they let her in the country.
I'm swooning hard when I saw that. Literally the only time I've ever been struck by that kind of swooning in an interview where I'm like, this is affecting my ability to do this interview.
Why? Because you couldn't stand up straight? Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, she's highly she's definitely about, I don't know, what is Simone on the Clydesdale scale, you think?
Oh, I don't even want to go into that, but I won't disagree with you.
Everybody's like, what the heck is the Clydesdale scale? Please go watch Airheads. Please go watch the movie Airheads. I don't know what it is either. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm also not going to say that it's a bad thing. No, I mean I love her. I mean, not in the literal sense. She's awesome.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
bottom line, out of all the female racers to have ever raced an IndyCar, and I do not count Motegi as a legit win by Danica because she herded herself a win there. It was just a fluke strategy, off strategy pit stop with a caution from the rear of the field that got her to the. I mean, that's it. Let's call Rose a Rose, whatever. But hey, she won the race, first female to win an IndyCar race. I'm not gonna take that away from her. How she did it, it's the same way I don't respect Herta's first win at Coda. He didn't earn that win. It was gifted to him 2 laps left. So, that was Will's race to lose, and in Will's classic fashion, I mean, how many people have won races thanks to Will's luck in Will's career? I mean, the list is longer than my Janssen. So, and that's a long list. So, so anyway, point being is, although the last Herta win, I won't take that away from him. He did earn that one.
Yeah.
So,
and then
I gained a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say I gained a little bit more respect for Herta with his last win because I had none to begin with. So I guess my meter went into the slightly respect meter from his last win.
Yeah,
take that for what you want, but I still don't.
Anytime he can win from pole is when I have to give him credit for. You
Yeah,
cannot give someone credit when they win from pole.
Exactly. That's an earned win. You know what I mean? And how many wins has Will gotten that way? That's my point.
Well, speaking of someone else who's got a lot of wins,
not Marco Andretti.
Yeah, I was trying to.
He's got a lot of pole. It only took him 10 years to figure it out that he sucked.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm going to say whatever is on. It's on everybody's mind when this was announced.
This is why I'm glad that you're here, Frank, for that.
Because I'll say it. I don't care. Marco should have been out of the series 10 years ago if you look at the stats that he has. Because, I mean, there are so many drivers that have miles more talent than him that were thrust out of IndyCar because their stats were not 100th low, like above it. Like he could just Wikipedia his career stats, and you go, how did he stay in IndyCar so long? Well, his last name,
right?
So, I mean, I'm glad he finally caught up with the times. Or, I mean, did he have a reality check? Did he have a near life incident recently? Was he caught in a storm in a boat? I mean, what all of a sudden made him go, I suck. Maybe
they still haven't even
belong here.
Fill that car yet. That it's about the only seat that's left.
Who do you think?
Full-time seat.
And Oliver Askew deserves that seat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's number one, numero uno, that should be on the list for that seat, period. You think he'll get it? He has no ties to Andretti whatsoever. So,
yeah.
I mean, not that I know of that he has any ties other than racing with Marco, but I was always in front of him. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Ollie wrecked house from the moment he came onto RTI to the moment he was signed by McLaren to the moment Connor Daly just essed the bed and caused him to go into an uncontrolled header into the inside barrier. That pretty much ended his season. And McLaren, being the F1 team that they are, because people have to understand that McLaren's not an IndyCar team. They're an F1 team. They run themselves like an F1 team. they really need to change their approach in IndyCar. Other than the pattern move was, I'm glad they did that. I mean, at least I'm glad Zach Brown had enough sense to keep him. Like, but I mean, who's taken over the other McLaren seat?
Oh,
I mean, who was it again? I mean, has it been announced? I don't think it's been announced, has it? I've heard rumors. I won't speculate. We don't speculate on this show. Unless David Molcher writes about it, it doesn't exist. So I will not sit here and speculate on anything until I read it out of Dave Molcher's writing, or yours, obviously. If Racer wrote it,
there's a 3-car team, and Felix Rosenquist was signed to drive the 7 car.
That's right.
And
I knew that.
They will have a 3rd car for the Indy 500, driven by Juan Pablo Montoya.
I did not know that. When did that happen?
Formula One is making his return to IndyCar. That was announced.
Formula Uno.
Couple of months ago, I think it was.
JPM is Formula Uno.
It was announced that Formula One would be
Formula One. I didn't get that the first or second or third time.
I knew if I said it enough times that you'd finally get it.
I'm glad you kept going, because that's funny.
I heard that once and I was like, "Yep, there it is. There's the nickname." Is better than the nickname given to him by Elio.
What, the pumpkin?
Oh, Pablo.
Wait, what is it?
I have heard Elio Castroneves refer to Juan Pablo Montoya as Gordito Pablo.
Gordito Pablo Crunch?
Something like that. Because,
or
put on a little extra weight. I'm surprised they can fit in the cockpit.
He's a very svelte man. Very svelte. It's baby fat, dude. It's baby fat. I've been hearing that my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm almost 38. I think it's not baby fat anymore. It's here to stay. This is years of McDonald's and laziness.
Yeah. Well, and then kind of pick on Trevor or Taylor Keel. Was promoted to president of Arrow McLaren SP. He's actually a pretty smart guy. So,
smart move.
Yeah, it's actually a very smart move on Sam's part to promote someone with a brain into that position.
This is the last year that Sam and McLaren's contract is up after this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because McLaren will have learned enough, gotten enough connections to boot him away. They don't need to use his name anymore.
Well, I don't think you have to boot him anywhere.
Okay, roll him. I mean,
at least you said it, not me.
Well, I mean, look. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like, if you only knew what everyone else in the inside really referred to him as, it's much worse than I could come up with. I won't say it. I mean, you know what it is, but I won't say it on air.
Oh, was there?
Let's just say he's not very respected as you might think he might be, for obvious and very multiple reasons fans don't know about, and not many people do. I'm not going to be the one to drop that bomb.
Yeah, I didn't see
on that one
stuff, but I forgot to mention the last couple days, Monday, Tuesday, they had some IndyCar testing at Sebring, their first test of the year.
There, that's as close as I'll get. If you can read hand language, that's what they call.
Yeah, the moving of Alex Palou from Coyne to Ganassi seems to be paying off and showing what
I think it's
what kind of real talent Palou has.
Okay. Felix and Pato being on the same team. It's the smartest thing McLaren's done yet. Felix and Pato are the two most talented young drivers in the world. I've been saying this for years. Anybody who's been following along with the show for years and knows I've been saying this for years. I can pull up the show from 4 years ago for me saying it. So, there you go. I'm not just some bandwagon guy that, jumps on and says things like, I've always known it, because I'm not fake. And, anyway, point being is, I always wanted them to in the series together, but them on the same team together makes it even more competitive. You know what I mean? Because McLaren's an F1 team. So, and in F1, you're not racing against other teams. You're racing against your teammate, right? And they're going to promote that sort of, you know what I mean? They're going to promote that kind of competition, which is good. It's only going to make the product on the track that much better. Him being on Ganassi was fine, but he wasn't, you know what I mean? He was in Dixon's shadow over there.
Right, yeah. I mean, as long as Dixon's there, anybody will be in his shadow. Although, it is talking about here, Jimmy Johnson, 7-time, making had one of his was down there testing, and it's
if you're going to wax poetic about his lap times at Sebring,
yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
I don't care about the lap times at Sebring, but when it comes time for him to actually get in the car and compete on the track and throw down qualifying laps and race laps and stuff, that's where we're going to find out what Jimmy's made of. And I got a good feeling about him. I have a feeling that he will have at least one podium this year. That's my bold prediction. Jimmy Johnson will podium at least once.
Well, I mean, he's in a great car to do it, number one. Number two, if there was anybody to come out of NASCAR that has any bit of talent that even belongs here, it was him, period. He's the only one. I can't think of another one. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like for a full season of talent. I mean, you can get an Indy 500 one-off. You could, I mean,
it's very odd to take
I'd still give a lot for Jeff Gordon to race one time.
He's retired, bro. I mean, I'm talking about current drivers. I'm not talking about in the past. But of course, yeah, okay. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, but Jeff Gordon proved that before he went to NASCAR, because he came up through IndyCar. I mean, Jeff Gordon went from IndyCar to NASCAR, so of course he can hack it in IndyCar. He just went for a payday. That's all. I mean, because when he was coming up, the split happened. There's no money. He went for the money. I don't blame him. The man's richer than anything. He signed a great contract with a great team. I can't blame him for that.
Well, he has a sponsor too.
Yeah, I'm not going to hate on him.
He's got a big name sponsor, new sponsor to all of it.
Yeah, I'm never going to hate on a racer for making. I mean, it's real. I mean, you and I both know, because we've seen it firsthand, that if you think being a race car driver, even on the IndyCar level, means you're rich, you are mistaken. They are broker than me, and I'm broke. I'm macaroni and cheese broke. I'm rolling pennies for gas broke. I'm stealing all this from Chappelle broke.
you got to just look at the stories of like Connor Daly crashing with Hinch and Alexander Rossi for, over a year between the two of them. And just, these drivers, if you get into racing, and I've said it, man, if you get into racing to get rich, you're not very smart.
No. And you will, and you're going to go bankrupt trying.
But if you do make it, then you're a genius. You have to be like some sort of Einstein level genius to get rich off racing.
Or be Danica Patrick.
That's true. You just gotta shake it a little bit, and people will follow.
Yeah, she's hot by proxy.
What? Because she used to date Aaron Rodgers.
They broke up.
Yeah. Oh wow! Why do you think the Packers are winning?
I mean, until next week when Tom Brady, beats them. No, wait.
7-time.
No. Yeah. They're playing the Packers this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, the whole Tom Brady thing. It's not fair having a coach out in the field like that. I mean, the guy is. I mean, dude, the combined ages of both of them is what, 80, 83. I'm not joking. I think it's 70s, to be honest. I mean, what? Brady's what, 45, and Aaron Rodgers what, mid 30s, almost 40.
Yeah, he's almost 40.
Yeah, it's like it's close to 80.
Yeah.
80 years between just the two of them.
I'm pretty sure the combined ages in the Drew Brees Tom Brady one was older though.
Dude, I like Drew Brees so much.
Drew Brees is good. I like Drew Brees. He's old though.
Yeah, I know, but and then to see his career end like that was just
yeah.
Boy, did his team not rally around him. God. Oh, two out of 3 of those interceptions were not his fault. The one was such a fluky. I'm like, how did that even happen? Whatever. I'm not here to talk about football. The Eagles aren't in it. I don't care. So, moving on. Back to racing. It's too much.
That's just about all the news I've got.
There's one thing you touched on. Let's see. So much happened this week. I feel like we're missing something. Okay, the Marco thing. The Simona thing. Okay, yeah. So, do you think Penske went for the whole Simona thing for strictly a PR move?
Well, I mean,
because she's not a very accomplished oval racer. She's more a road and street course racer. That's her strengths. So,
I mean, it's part of the initiative. They announced the diversity initiative, and this is just a product of that program. I'm not ever going to complain about a new team coming into the series.
Right, but Penske didn't. What I'm saying is Penske didn't go out and make this happen. It came to him.
Right. Through the program, it came to him.
Right. And it's not like he gave them a backup car.
No, but there's Paretta Autos where they're based out of Charlotte. Like their headquarters is down there to be with Penske.
Yeah. And I think, what was it, last year? She wasn't Paretta trying to lobby for an all-women's team right down to the crew, engineer, everything?
I can't remember if it was her or someone else, but I do.
No,
Grace Autosport. Yeah, they were supposed to have the all women's team in the 500, and the team never came to fruition. Never ended up happening.
No funding, yeah, and it's just like, how do you not have no funding for all women's team? I mean, it's how much you don't need that much. One car team for Indy 500. I mean, I'm not talking about a full season here.
Indy 500 only ride.
Yeah, I mean, what is it?
It sounds like after it's just a start, and then if things go well, that it will expand into more.
I mean, but Simona's severely handicapped in this. She's going to get 4 days, man. She's going to get 4 days to come up to speed. That's all she's going to get. 4 days, because the Grand Prix, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday qualify.
Yeah.
And
but it's not for years.
And Carb Day, you might as well throw that out the window too, because that's not. I mean, Carb Day is Carb Day. I mean, it's, you know what I mean. So it's really 3 days.
I do agree with Greg that Paretta team, they really need to race Texas, because Texas is before Indy, and it's a double header, and you'll learn a lot.
Very good point, Greg.
So
as usual,
maybe that's something that Roger should
And
Right.
how much more would it cost when you already got the car and you already have the team in place?
Yep,
And
just write an it's just a small check. It's not even
Yeah.
that big a check.
if
Especially
you
it's
are,
a doubleheader. It's a doubleheader. You get 2 races. You get double the experience.
yeah, I mean, and double the fun, right? Exactly.
I mean, it's Texas.
Okay, double the. But hey, Justin Wilson won it once and looked very awkward in a.
I know he did. Well, yeah, a Brit holding 2 6-shooters. I mean, if Scott Dixon hadn't won it so many times, if you saw the first time he did it, it was awkward. Any foreigner that wins that race the first time is gonna look awkward.
I would look awkward in a
John
cowboy
Wayne
hat.
Dirty Harry impression.
Yeah, listen, everybody that don't live in the United States, the cowboy hat thing is not common. Not even in Texas, for crying out loud. I mean, it's such a niche thing. It's such a. I mean, have you ever tried to put on a pair of cowboy boots? I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. Does not look comfortable.
Oh, and then we'll circle back to this one here for Greg. Hi,
Hi, Greg.
St. Pete has been moved to April 25th. It is now going to be the second race of the year. Barber's date is still set for April 11th. But now we have.
Thank you. This was the other thing. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Greg. Because I was racking my brain. Like, there's one other thing that came up that we haven't talked about. And what the heck is it? Oh, yeah, St. Pete. Not, yeah.
Yes. So,
I mean, I'm glad Barber's still on. Because Barber was, it was up in the air for a while. If they're even got another race.
Now this eliminates that 1 month gap between that would have been between St. Pete and Barber, and then you would have had another 3 weeks between Barber and Texas. Well, now you get,
and nothing.
As Greg said, there's no breaks in the schedule except for the Olympics.
Well, no, today they just announced that the Olympics have been pushed back 6 months.
What?
Yeah,
they did announce that.
Or they pushed it back either a year or 6 months. I don't know. I don't care.
Last year it was supposed to be held in 2020, and they pushed it back to 2021.
Yeah, it'll be 2022 now, I think. Something like that.
Well,
I don't know. I don't care enough about the Olympics. It was something I've seen in passing. I could be wrong.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that just happened today. I don't know. I mean, let me just double check that so I didn't just spit out a stupid fact that wasn't a fact.
Fake news. We're going to be the fake news. Fake IndyCar news.
Yeah, it's a fake IndyCar news that Frank thinks he heard, but was mistaken as usual. Because there's a reason why I'm always late. Because it took me almost 5 hours to drill one freaking hole, and my body is really feeling that. Oh God.
I was able to reschedule my travel, so I will still be down in St. Pete for the new date.
I mean, I'm glad that they rescheduled it. Wait, what? Joe Biden's proposed
for me because I'm going to Texas too. So,
are you? Nice.
Uh-huh. Nice. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to skip Barber now because that's just a lot. And it'll be right in the middle of lacrosse season, so I don't want to have to miss 3 weekends of it.
Is RTI flipping their schedule around to accommodate?
RTI already flipped the schedule around, so there's still going to be Barber. They're going to start their season at Barber.
Good.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, we haven't talked about Robert McGinnis.
Bobo?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Did he announce it?
Oh, yeah, it was months ago that he's returning. Same team, still with Andretti, still going to be in the same car, same sponsors and stuff. But, yep, another year of Robert McGinnis in Indy Lights.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm just glad. I mean, we could have talked about that a month ago or so.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
My life has been a kind of a hurricane of chaos.
No, really, I can't imagine what could possibly be happening in your life that would disrupt your everything. Oh, little Jackson.
Yeah. Before he came out, way too early.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of sad I won't get to see him this weekend, but
Man, me too, man.
I will. I don't want to. I would just be a nervous wreck for 2 weeks after seeing him.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to seeing you, obviously. And then when I heard that it's gonna be like Tuesday, him finally coming home after 2 months in the hospital, I was kind of relieved in a way because Missy was kind of stressing out.
Oh yeah.
But in a way, I'm figuring it's been 2 months. I've seen him twice.
Yeah.
I can wait another few days.
Yeah, you can wait a few more days and then you get to hold him.
Yeah. How am I not a freaking patient? It's my kid. Never mind. I'm not going to get into it. It's personal matters. But,
Well, I think that's about all I got for tonight.
Well, all I want to say is, I'm glad that is this Trey Burke? I'm saying it right?
Yes, Trey Burke.
With the new team.
Mm-hmm.
Palamo?
Joe Dueling Autosports.
Dueling. Okay. Why did I say Palamo? Dueling. Whatever. I mean, but yeah.
It was something I just couldn't remember. The Joe Dueling. I will remember that because I'm going to go stalk them in the paddock when I'm at the track.
I just want to ask you what. Okay, so what's your predict? Like, so we'll look back on this in a year. Do you think, this time next year, probability of Bobo and Stingray Rob having a seat for in IndyCar after their Indy Lights campaign?
I don't know. I feel like for both of them, their best option is to win the Indy Lights championship.
Well, of course. I mean, that guarantees it. But I mean, Renus didn't win it.
Without it, I mean, the sponsorship. Like if they don't have a sponsor, there's no chance. Okay, and a bigger sponsor than what they have now, because the money that you need to run in Indy Lights pales in comparison to what it takes to run an IndyCar.
I did hear a number, by the way, recently, how much it takes to run a full season IndyCar. I don't know.
I've heard some numbers too, and I'm willing to bet there's at least 2 commas in it.
Oh yeah, with a single digit after in the beginning of the first comma, which I was surprised. I thought it'd be more.
Yeah, it's only a single digit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a low digit actually.
Double digit, but it's in the mid single, about the mid single digits.
Yeah, close. 4.
If it's a single car team, it will be. If you're on a 2-car team, splitting the costs, like all the overhead and stuff like that, it goes down considerably.
And I'm talking about non-paid drivers.
Yeah, just the base cost for the owner is about $4 million a year.
Right, and owners like Sam, that entire bill goes placed on the driver's forehead, not him.
Right.
Not a dime. Which I don't agree with, but it's the way of the world.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just glad that more seats are being available for better talent to be on the grid. So once again, this season will turn out to have the most talent we've ever seen at one time in an IndyCar grid, starting a Grand Prix ever.
Oh yeah, it's I mean, just the new names that have come in. I mean, new teams popping up. We've had at least two new USF 2000 teams. We've had them both on, and there's just a lot of new talent coming in. Yeah. Guys moving up. Indy Pro 2000 is going to have more cars next year. New teams moving up, expanding into Indy Pro. The return of Indy Lights. That's going to have a lot bigger grid than it did in 19. Everything's looking up for the road to Indy, and everything trickles up. Yeah. It's funny how they say like things trickle down, but in IndyCar,
it does. To be honest with you, it does trickle down, and it does trickle up.
It trickles down and up.
Yeah, I mean, if IndyCar wasn't the product that it is, people wouldn't want to try to get into it so bad, and then that boosts RTI. But if RTI wasn't as good as it is of a feeder series into a great series, so they complement each other extremely well, and that's the one thing among many that F1 is really lacking. Because do you know who's racing in F2?
No.
Well, that's the equivalent of Indy Lights. Do you know who's racing F3?
No.
No. Do you know who's racing F4? Exactly. That's the problem. That's F1's one of many problems. But like it trickles down and trickles up. You know what I mean? And the Romain Grosjean thing, that's the one thing I wanted to touch on. Romain Grosjean to coin. Now.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that too.
It hasn't been official. It's like 99.99998% true that it's been signed. Check's been cashed. It just hasn't been officially announced. But it's been announced, but not official. I don't know what's going on with that, but basically Romain Grosjean is going to be in IndyCar next year for Dale Coyne.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's getting no play at all is crazy to me, because Romain Grosjean, it's not like he's a joke F1 driver, dude. He's I mean, come on.
He's healing.
Huh?
He's still healing from his crash.
I know. The man should be dead. Let's just say it. I'm going to say right now, what I saw, he should not be alive. I'm sorry. I mean, how the hell do you emerge from a fireball after a minute? Unharmed. I mean, a few burns, but...
Only his hands. Only his hands were burned.
And
have you seen the fire suits that these guys wear and all that the gear they wear? It's insane how resistant that stuff is.
And he's alive thanks to Jackie Stewart back in the 60s, dude. If they didn't start that whole drive,
if they didn't catch fire every time they crashed.
Well, if it wasn't like a 1 in 7 chance you were going to die if you crashed, let alone fire or not. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it wasn't for Sir Jackie Stewart and what they started back then, he'd be dead today. I'm just saying, because it only, it's got to start somewhere, right? Like the whole safety before, you know what I mean? Because before then, they were just like, get out of my face. We're not going to spend any money on making sure you're safer. We'll find someone else to race it. Go away. You know what I mean? That's how it was before you got the likes of Jackie Stewart's. And with Jackie Stewart doing it, they still weren't doing anything about it. Then Senna went, nah, I'm with him. And they're like, oh, or no, not Senna. Who was it? I'm getting my decades mixed up.
Yeah. Oh, and there was also was one driver who will not be returning to IndyCar in 2021. Santino Ferrucci, he's gone off to NASCAR Xfinity Series. where he will fit in quite well
with the rest of the douches.
with the rest of the rednecks. Yep. I said it.
I mean,
So really there's with Marco's departure that there are only 2 seats that are open.
I found out more about Santino.
And
I just want to stay on Ferrucci. Like, I heard about 3 other instances that have come to light that he was attributed to over in, was it F3? I think it was F3, right?
F2 or F3.
Yeah, no, it was both F2 and F3. He made it up to F2, and that's when he really PO'd, and it was the second time he did that, but everybody focused in on this time. But he did the same thing twice in F3.
Oh yeah.
Using your car as a weapon to make a point is just about the most irresponsible thing a racer could ever do. And that's why I lambasted Vettel so much when he did it. And I was gob dropped, like how Vettel acted after that. And he was like, well, why that? What do you mean I'm getting a penalty for what? Like, what do you mean for what?
In football, when the offensive lineman is holding and then he just throws his arms up in the air like, oh, look at me, I didn't do anything. Same thing. It's like blatant hold.
No. It's more like, what do you mean I'm suspended for a year? I didn't mean to spear the quarterback in his head, blindsided him, and gave him a concussion to where he can't talk for 3 years. What are you talking about? It's not illegal. It's not dirty. Whatever your freaking name is from the Raiders 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. What was his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, me neither. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I can remember seeing that. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that play. It was in our football training video where we had to watch it.
And why was it there?
Anybody here think this is a clean play? And nobody's hand went up.
I mean, the dude's career was over after that because of what he did. I mean, that's just because it's not the first time he's done it.
Yeah.
Like,
I've always maintained that if in high school, if a player injures another player and gets penalized for it, it's not just like I tackled him legally and he broke his leg, but like if you commit a foul and injure a player through that, and that player's off for the rest of the game, so should you. That player can't return next week because he's hurt. Neither can you.
Yeah, no. I mean, if
you take those dirty, cheap plays out of football in a hurry. If you injure a player and get penalized, you don't play until they return. And if they can never play again, you never get to play again.
Yeah, and then taking that and looking at it in the racing terms, it all starts from the top and trickles down. If you see your idols doing it or guys at the top of your sport doing it, getting away with it, well,
yeah.
Vettel got away with it. I mean, Ferrucci got away with it eventually, well, for a while. But my point being is, it's like, it shouldn't be tolerated. Zero tolerance. Zero. You do it once, you've done. Lifetime ban. Done.
It just be like if you're driving a car and like the team comes on the radio and says, all right, bring it back to pit lane, back to the box.
It should be it should be you're arrested and
never drive a car again.
No, it should be as soon as you get out of the car, you're arrested for attempted manslaughter. That's what it should be, because it is. It's exactly what it is. It's not like, it was just, I was mad at him, so I punched him in the face. No, you almost killed him because you're in a freaking car. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't do, like,
yeah.
but what I'm saying is young kids see that. And Vettel's a 4-time world champion, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? The entire world's seen it, especially the entire racing world's seen it. And especially every racer in the entire racing world seen that. And he got away with what? I mean, what did he get? A 20-second penalty, I think. 50-second penalty, something like that. It was a second penalty. That's all he got. He didn't get a race suspension. He didn't get points taken away. I think he was fined money, but he's Sebastian Vettel, so who cares? The man's richer than rich. You have to be to race in Formula One. That's another thing they need to change. But whatever. The longer you listen to all my Janssen, the things that need to change. But gosh, for a second, horrible joke of the same thing. But you know what I'm saying. So yeah, if you target another driver with your car and you try to make a point with your car, you should be banned from ever racing a car. Period. Zero tolerance for it. That's all I'm saying. And I'm just bringing this up because we brought up Ferrucci, and this is why I've never liked him. This is why I'm never gonna like him. And what's crazy is he was slowly gaining me back, where I was like, all right, and when you're young, you do stupid things, and I blame Vettel for it. And he was in the feeder series F1, so of course he saw it. They all see it. I mean, he was. You see them do it, get away with it. You're going to do it. So that's all I'm saying. Like, same with football, same with racing. You got to take this stuff as serious as serious gets. It's not a game. I mean, it's game. Football's a game, but racing's not a game.
Right.
When you're racing, you have to be extremely composed. And if you can't be, you should never be allowed behind the wheel, because someone else's life is not worth your immaturity.
So what you're saying is we should take away the vast majority of people's driver's licenses because they're not.
I shouldn't have one.
Oh, well, I mean, starting with this guy right here.
Oh yeah. Thanks, my lawyer. I should not have a license. Nope. But I do it to myself. It's been over 2 years since I involved someone else in it.
Oh, and also, Greg also brings up a great point. 2 points. Ferrucci's dad also missed some payments to the F2 team, so that kind of somebody contributed to his downfall there. And also remember when Ferrucci intentionally wrecked somebody in the IndyCar iRacing event?
Yeah, I mean, it's iRacing. I don't care. It's sim racing. It's a game. I mean,
like I was telling Trey, you actually see, because he's in iRacing, does iRacing stuff, but you actually see what a driver is really like in iRacing because there's no consequences.
And they're very
tiptoe around because you crash that car, it costs real money in real time to fix. You crash the iRacing car, you just hold down the button and boom, you got a new car in pit lane. So it actually shows what somebody's what they really are.
Yeah, zero consequences as long as you're not racist about it. Just saying.
Right. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't rage quit or say something racist on your team radio.
Or basically catfish everybody and not do it and pay someone else to do it for you.
Yeah, that too. I forgot about that one. Like,
oh my God.
I'm suspended from NASCAR I'm suspended from driving a real car because I let some fix my internet.
It's like, here, Jared, would you like to play this race for me? Sure. What do you mean I can't go to work tomorrow? Like, what?
Yeah.
NASCAR, you're a joke. This is why you suck. This is why you're just imploding, and it's glorious to watch. It really is. Anyway.
I
wonder how many more seats they can rip out of Daytona. I guess we'll find out this weekend at the Roar. Or is it next weekend? Did I screw it up? No, it's this weekend, isn't it? Isn't the Roar this weekend? The Roar at the 24th this weekend, isn't it?
Please hold. Yes, it is this weekend.
Yeah, I thought so. And so if you're an IMSA fan, and hey, you,
Hey, the two people in the country that are IMSA fans.
and the 5 others that know what IMSA is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if this was 10 years ago, that'd be a whole lot more people because it was actually a good product until NASCAR took it over. Because Rolex sucked.
Did IMSA change something? Like where
They always change something.
something?
What?
Because what's this? I'm seeing something here.
Okay, so basically
What is
IMSA.
The Motul Pole Award 100. Is that what I think it is? Where pole for the Rolex is set something at the Roar?
I don't care. I really wish I cared. It's a shame I don't, because IMSA was so American Le Mans series had such a good thing going for it. You know, they were in lockstep with WEC, which is very, very beneficial to both. That was the worst move they ever made, was to get out of lockstep with WEC. Sorry. You had an FIA, you know, top sports car series that was coming over here with their best teams to race with you during your endurance races. And you go and screw that up. Oh. I don't know what it is. I mean, do you see how you can't find out? Freaking IMSA, will you get your act together? Will you please? It should be one click and it should be easy to find out. People who are listening, Jared has spent this entire time on IMSA's own website trying to find this out. He clicked on the Mogul 100 and it went to nothing about it. Yeah. If that was American Le Mans series, once you clicked on it, you'd know exactly what it was about. It probably would.
With the live coverage we can send with the Roar before the Rolex's 24 inaugural Motul, the 100-minute race determines the starting positions for the Rolex.
So it's a race for race. A race for the race. Really? Really? Really?
Oh, Greg's been talking about it too. The Roar is condensed 1 week because of COVID. To condense things, they made a qualifying race for the 24.
How about you qualify? So how do you qualify for the race for the race for the race?
Yeah, that's true.
How do you set that grid for the race for the race for the race to the race to race to race? Do you see the problem here, IMSA?
Yeah.
This is why we're about to change the freaking name of this podcast, and it's been long overdue. Jared and I have been talking about it. Not going to say anything in stone yet. I haven't talked to Missy about it yet, but expect that coming, because screw sports car, screw you, IMSA. I'm done. I'm done. That exercise right there, Jared, I'm done with IMSA. And it's been a long time coming. I'm done.
But what about Kevin Magnussen?
I don't care about Kevin. Who? So what? I mean, he's got a pedigree of a guy that did nothing but sports car.
Yep.
Once they destroyed GTLM, that's why I knew that they
already destroyed GTLM when they stopped allowing Falcon tires.
I know.
When they forced everyone onto the same tire.
and that's the last time. When they did that, I haven't attended an IMSA race since.
I mean, I only typically attend one IMSA race a year, and that's just because it's Belle Isle, and they race on Belle Isle too.
Here's
Same.
the difference with IMSA, right?
No, the only way I go to an IMSA race is if it's on the same weekend as an IndyCar race, and I'm there already.
Which you know they're not smart enough to do, which they should have years ago. But
Well, they did a little bit, and then NASCAR was like, "No, we can't have it. You got to come on our bill."
I know, so we could have Pirelli with us and have no idea what the hell we're looking at because Pirelli's just that uncoordinated, and I don't have a clue how many classes there exists. It's like 20. I don't know who I'm watching race against who, and I mean, there's no color code. I don't even know who's in the car. You know, Pirelli is just a mess.
Yeah,
and they don't even do races with IndyCar anymore because I don't even know what happened to them. I don't care either. I mean, they had one good thing going for them. They had that McLaren team with those 3 cars. So that's about it. You know, and then those Cadillacs that dominated for a while. And that's all I know. And for all I know, those 2 teams weren't even in the same class. They could have been, but it's not like there's any identifying marks on the cars that tell you that. And I'm literally at the track. I'm at Road America, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. There they go. I can't figure it out.
but don't forget though, new stuff coming into IMSA this year. LMP3. Oh boy, it's so exciting.
Yeah, that's because they lost LMP, or they lost their. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I'm done. I don't care. LMP3. I didn't care about LMP2.
Nobody cared about LMP2. There were 4 cars. If
Yeah.
that.
Is there gonna how many LMP3s are gonna be? Oh, they're
I
cheaper,
don't know.
so probably more.
Announced.
The only time I ever paid attention is because Tristan Vautier was you know, in LMP1 or whatever it was, LMP whatever, Daytona, whatever they are, the ugliest date prototypes I've ever seen. Big lunky. Ugh. I mean, a prototype like WEC. Okay, look at the prototypes in WEC. You know, they're at least interesting looking. You know, they look cool. LMP3 and LMP2, they look identical to what I was watching almost 10 years ago. It's a Leger. That's all it is. It's a freaking Leger chassis.
Well, I mean, the big draw of having the LMP2 is that you could just take it over and run it in WEC. You can take it over and run it in Le Mans and not do anything with it. Well,
Yeah. I mean, like, they don't have enough entries already to do nothing. And no one here in the States gives a hoot about Le Mans. No one cares. When's the last time you watched a full hour of Le Mans? When? How many years ago?
I mean, not gonna lie. This past year, I when it was on, I was like, "Oh, hey, here's a race." And I watched it all day. But
I found out it happened a week later. And that's hard. That's horrible.
So I was like, "Well, I'll watch this. I'll watch." And it was on cable. They had like one channel. It was like, "Yeah, we'll just cover it all day, nonstop." And I'm like, "Okay."
And the coverage is unbearable.
Well, it's because it's just a simulcast of the Euro.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather watch that.
The Sky Sport, but like rebroadcast.
Yeah, I'd rather watch that.
I get to listen to this Cheerio. This Pappy's just bombing around in this car. Get to listen to all the Euros.
Well, what's the difference? Their simulcast is British people anyway.
That's true. Lee Dippy. I thought Lee Dippy was Australian.
What's the difference?
I know it's the same thing.
It's like British Light, okay? I mean, you know, British stuff. Well, you know, he should trace his lineage back. It won't be hard. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
it originates somewhere from the island.
It's just wanker.
Wanka, wanka, wanka.
Real
UK.
bogan.
Yeah. Wanker, 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 murderer in the UK. I don't know. Sorry. Little jab in there. Because it used to be where they send their prisoners or something. Which that's an expensive, like, what did you have to do for the kingdom of the United Kingdom to spend all that money to send you off to Australia? I mean, that's an expensive voyage.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for me. I got.
Yeah. I'm sorry about the tirade about IMSA, but it's been a long time for me. I've been so just utterly disgusted with it, and the reason it's called the Indie Sports Car Podcast is because when we named it, I gave a hoot. Sports car was, I would say, sports car and open wheel. It was like, I don't know, 70-30, and that's 30 is a lot, to talk about. You have to actually like give a crap. We had sports car drivers on, but I mean, it's just the only reason I ever pay attention to IMSA at all is for the endurance races, and I like pointing out the fact that every seat they fill, they can't get enough open wheel racers to fill it. Even at the Daytona, there's no NASCAR drivers in it at Daytona.
Well, the last couple of years, the NASCAR had been like forcing one of their drivers, like one of their Cup drivers, to go do it.
If you have to write into law, it's not legit.
NASCAR's sleazy when they do stuff. Oh, hold on.
Are you sure?
Matt, you talking about me?
Oh, hey, legit.
I'm legit.
Did you forget your name?
No, legit IndyCar news guy
on Twitter.
That is true. Make sure you get all the news when I post news.
Well, when you do post news, it's real news. It's not racer news.
Oh, no fake news here. Only legitimate news. I'm a legitimate reporter.
Of course you are. I mean, look at you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you have press in your hat.
Yes.
It says press.
Really? That makes me legitimate.
I believe everything you say.
Tie.
It's you look very dapper today.
That's true.
With your two noses. You gotta move your head up there a bit. Uh-oh. For some reason you have an ear as a mouth now.
Oh yes, that happens. Sometimes it's hard to keep in the middle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yep. Now you look proper.
Yes, very proper. So
now
we should
everything you say now I will believe. Go ahead.
We tell people where they can find us and this stuff.
I think if you go to the realopenracer.com is a great website to go to.
The Real Open Racer?
Or something like that.
Did you plug in racer.com again? Thought you were a motorsport guy.
I am.
You're talking about realopenwheel.com.
Thank you. It's not my website, it's yours. I can never remember it.
Yes.
However, if you go there,
you'll find some news. And me getting ready for new season. I gotta get that site updated.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just like the IndieSportsCarPodcast.com, where you can find everything.
Yes.
All social media, everywhere you can, watch the show, listen to the show, whatever you want to do. It's a podcast. You know what to do. If you listened to this already, you figured it out.
Absolutely. And we thank you for tuning in.
You're a champion in my book. Sticking in this far with us, champions. No, but it's been fun.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be back in a week or two. I'm going to try to see if we can get another guest on. And once again, want to thank the great Trey Burke, great young up-and-coming driver, Joe Dueling Racing, getting ready for the 2021 USF 2000 series. Big thanks to him for coming on the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And I guess it's you know that I know that Frank hates sports cars. And have a good night, everybody.
Bye.